Well, that just ended very interesting fashion, but the Canucks held on and won 4-3, and that series is even. Hotly contested game, but that game ended up going Vancouver's way. They avenged the shutout from Game One to end a very eventful Day Four. Day Four also included an elimination. The New York Rangers became the first team to be ousted in this special postseason, and it was pretty academic. It was pretty academic. The Rangers just didn't show up. I actually had the Rangers kind of shocking people and kind of hanging in there with Carolina, possibly beating them out. They weren't even close. 4 goals in 3 games. They went 1 for 14 on the power play the entire series, and that one goal was on a 5-on-3. Yeah, they were shooting blanks the whole series. It was ridiculous. It was a miracle they didn't get shut out in one of those games. But yeah, uh, 2 goals in game one and 1 goal each in games two and three. And meanwhile, Zvechnikov scored 3 alone in that game too. So so Carolina advances to the traditional Sweet 16, the traditional Stanley Cup playoffs. But their opponents are not known because the seeding has to be worked out. Remember, teams are being reseeded after the qualifying round and after the first round. So we have to wait and see who plays who. Wait until everything's pretty much settled to see who plays who. But Carolina has moved on, and that's a long layoff because this was day 4, August 4th, and this opening qualifying round journey doesn't ends after August 9th. The 10th is an off day, and I think the actual playoffs start the 11th. So yeah, they have pretty much a week to prepare. But week week day 4 began with a New York team that's actually doing something. The Islanders got a hard earned victory. They had to kind of come back for that one because Florida was striking. Florida was up 1-0 and 2-1, but the Islanders came back with 3 unanswered, 2 of them from Jordan Everly. So the Islanders are up 2-0, but that in Calgary and Winnipeg. Well, this is after three. No, they played three. They played 3 games, and Calgary just demolished Winnipeg. It was just terrible. I don't know what's wrong with the Jets. Maybe they really do miss Shifley and Line. I always thought the Jets had a very deep team. It appeared that way ever since 2 seasons ago um, when they made it deep into the playoffs, all the way to round 3. But I've always thought they had a deep lineup. They miss Shifley and Line, and all of a sudden they don't know what to do. It's very strange. So and Hellebuck, oh God, it was awful. So yeah, 6 goals. So Calgary put a whooping on them, and now they're up 2-1 after 3. Um, UC Saros rebounded from the bad game one. He almost had a shutout. He gave up 2 quick ones in the final minute. So, but Nashville held on and won 4-2. And speaking of shutouts, Frederick Anderson actually did have one. Toronto bounced back from the shutout for their shutout loss or shutout win, but it came with a huge loss. With about a minute and some change left of regulation, Jake Muzzin suffered a terrible injury. It was crazy. It was just awful. He tripped and his head ran into the knee, was it the knee, the back of the knee of a Jackets player. His neck went back. I mean, it was awful. Uh, they stretchered him out, and every puckhead is hoping that he's okay. So that's definitely something that Toronto has to think about, other than the fact that they did even this thing at 1-1. But yeah, with the exception of a couple series, pretty much every series is 1-1. and that's a bunch of game fours we're gonna get at least with the possible exception of Islanders and Florida because we don't know we're gonna get a game four. But yeah, it's another eventful day. But it included one head being lopped off. The New York Rangers are kaput, but they get a good consolation. They enter the lottery because remember the number one draft pick ended up going to one of the eliminated teams in the qualifying round. That team could be the Rangers. They're one of the 8 teams that are in this thing. Phase 2 of the draft lottery, I think, is on the 10th, which is on Monday. So yeah, so the Rangers could get number one, or it could be um, any of the other 17s. Foreigner could join them. It looks like it. Pretty much looks like it. So what's on slate for tomorrow? Tomorrow, day 5, and we're pretty much at the midpoint of this thing, and our Raiders elimination. Okay, so day 5 kicks off at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific with Game 3, another elimination game between the Islanders and Florida. Islanders have a chance to complete the sweep, finish off the Panthers, and send them to Phase 2 of the lottery. Um, then it's Game 3 between Nashville and Arizona. That's 1-1. And then we have a pair of round-robin games for tomorrow. One in the East, one in the West. Of course, the East game, it's Tampa Bay and Boston. Tampa Bay beat the Washington Capitals, and I think they're the front runners right now in the round robin standings. They and Philadelphia are tied with 2 points each, but Tampa Bay has a better regular season win percentage, so they have the tiebreaker. They'd be number one at the moment. And Boston, they're the only team they enter with the best record in the league, the only 100-point team in the league, and they don't have a point. They lost to Philadelphia on Sunday in regulation, so they don't have a single point. They're at the bottom. They'd be number 4 if this ended, and if they lose this game, they might stay there. But yeah, so Boston kind of needs to pick it up, kind of win these next two against Tampa and Washington because they've already played Philly. The West round robin game is the Avalanche and Dallas. That's right. Colorado's coming off that crazy last second victory over the defending champion Blues, and the Stars are coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. This was on Monday. So Colorado has 2 points, and we're the front runners for number one because Vegas also has 2, but we have a better win percentage than the Knights, so we'd be number one at the moment. Dallas, both Dallas and St. Louis, neither one of them have a point, but St. Louis would be number 3 because they have the best win percentage in the conference. So they would be number 3, and Dallas is sitting at number 4 currently, which is how they entered. They entered at number 4, but yeah, Colorado, we win, we could tighten that stranglehold on that number 1 position. So so that's what's going on. And regarding some more qualifying round action, it's a pair of game 3s in series that are tied at 1. Pittsburgh and Montreal. Pittsburgh got that big game 2 win to bounce back. And Edmonton and Chicago. The Oilers won behind Connor McDavid's hat trick. And and now they look to kind of continue things here. So it's another elimination game, 3 pivotal game 3s, and a pair of round robin games, important ones because this is like the second part of it. We're at the midpoint of this, so it's going to be a very interesting day 5 tomorrow, and I will recap that tomorrow night after all the action's over. That's my review of day 4, and I will be back tomorrow night.